what it meant to DJ Scott LaRock.
Notorious, I crush you like a jelly bean. I'm hip-hop. 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 Hip-hop.
And what it meant to DJ Scott LaRock.
And now, our feature presentation.
Hip Hop Wednesdays, what it do? I am the host, DJ Black. And since I am hip hop, I decided to do a hip hop night. So every third Wednesday, I come on here and I do my hip hop Wednesdays, where I break down and talk about hip hop, rap, DJs, the culture. Now, my intro, I did that right before I came on, the little scratching that I was doing. I was inspired by Straight Outta Compton. And Dr. Dre was doing his thing in Straight Outta Compton, so I figured I'd do mine. And let's see. Alrighty. And if y'all didn't see Straight Outta Compton or didn't know what Straight Outta Compton was, that scratching display I just did at the very end of the video of my intro came from this scene right here.
Come on, shut up.
Hey, little mama.
Why you didn't say hi?
So that's where my intro came from when I was just playing the scratch. And so if you missed the intro this week, Check it out. Actually, I'm gonna play the intro again at the end, so you stick around and you'll see my scratching display that was inspired by Straight Outta Compton. Now, I guess I'm gonna start off with who is next to blow. Okay, Mary J. Blige has a record label. Okay, and she signed Wanya. Y'all already know the legendary group Boyz II Men. Okay, Wanya from Boyz II Men. He has some sons. So he has sons, and they are singing. Call themselves One More. Now, he also have a daughter, and she can sing too. But One More is the name of the group, and those boys are bad. When I say the future Boyz II Men, that's who they are. A little bit better. And so, with the right promotion, right production, and with R&B being kind of dead now, I think if Mary J. Blige, who's there on her label, if she used all her resources, get the right producers, these boys can actually blow, because we're starving for real R&B right now. And so here's a taste of what these guys sound like. We need real R&B to come back. Check them out. One More. Yeah, that group there is they're gonna be hot. They off the chain. They're gonna be doing their thing. And I feel like they're gonna do what it do. So yes, I think if the right man, look, we are starving for R&B, and that group there, I feel like they're gonna do something. You know, Usher already doing his thing, and he trying to bring it back. So yeah, we need more songs like that to come back. You know, so if she get the right people behind them, what they do, Cootie, what y'all call them, Tater Head. They up in here. Let me see. I think the link. Let me see. Did I put a link? I'm gonna have to put that link, but the link is on the YouTube page. Copy the link off the YouTube page, put it in the Facebook page, and come on. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what it do. So I'm gonna start talking about how hip hop started. You know what I'm saying? And it started with the DJ. You know what I'm saying? It's confirmed that it started with the DJ. And then it went from the DJ to breaking. Then the MC came on there announcing the breakers. And then after that came the style, the culture, and it just went from there. The rappers, chart toppers, and it went from there. So let's see. Okay. This is what a lot of them say hip hop really started from. Peep this.
Kool Herc played this wonderful music. He played these wonderful B-sides, C-sides, D-sides of records. And he had this amazing sound system called the Herculoids.
I started hearing about this guy by the name of Herc. Everybody kept on talking about Herc. So that's when the fellas and I from the neighborhood, we decided to go and check out Kool Herc for the very first time.
My first hip-hop party was the Kool Herc party. At age 14, I was a freshman at Truman High School. And all my friends, they would say, man, we gotta go check out Kool Herc because his parties are supposed to be, you know, the party.
I started organizing this party. Where am I gonna get the music from? Herc had all the equipment in his room. So I knew he was gonna be playing the music. How much are we gonna charge people? Charge 25 cents for girls, 50 cents for fellas. How do you promote it now? Had index cards. Before there were flyers, there were index cards. And on the top, we always gave it a title, which was whatever the current song was. And I put Kool Herc's name on it because he's gonna be the DJ. And he was pretty popular in the neighborhood and in school. So they were really coming, you know, to see Kool Herc play. Since I'm organizing it, I have to give everybody their position where they need to be. So I told my mom, Miss Campbell, is going to be in the kitchen to supervise what was going on. Herc and his crew, they set up the equipment. And people didn't realize that our parents were there. We never had any problems.
It was my first exposure to a Kool Herc party. And the sound was loud. He was playing records that would not normally be heard on the radio. And the kids would form circles, and guys and girls would get in the middle of the circle and start competing in different dance styles against each other.
It was something that was different from being in like a normal disco club. It was like a little hole in the wall. Everybody was vibing and dancing and everything. And I saw the sound system that he was playing on. Now, I was used to be sneaking down to the discos at a young age, but Herc, he was playing a lot of obscure sounds that you don't normally hear, and they had a funky pattern, you know, a rhythm that was different from anywhere else. And every time when he played that rhythm, I saw that people in the dance floor assemble and start doing some footwork, which is called breakdancing. And I was amazed by watching this whole thing.
It was really great, and we had to be creative. We didn't have a stroke light at the time. And it was Herc's friend, his name is Mike. So he stood by the light switch, and Herc would say in the microphone, you know, Mike hit the lights when the B-boys started breaking. So Mike was just there flickering the light. But it was fun.
Of hip hop, it was one big party, Kool Herc. And, you know, he had Red Alert, and them went and checked out the party. And that's similar to what we did, me and Nard. And like I say, we didn't know nothing that was going on. So like I said, with the universe and talent, I feel like with universe and talent, I feel like the creator throw these ideas and this on everybody at the same time, and it's whoever can take it to the forefront is the one to get the credit for it, because the same way they did is what we did. And we just threw a party. And my motivation to start DJing, it goes back. Okay, mom was always playing music. She played all the hits. So I owe the DJ ear to my mom's. But I'm gonna say the first inspiration I had with DJing was by a guy by the name of Robert Frenchroy. At the time, he was known as Squeeze, and he was the first person I seen with a sound system. He was set up at the end of the road, and the Edmonds from Bastrop, which is some kin to Babyface, by the way, they would do what's called a wiener roast back in the day. It's kind of like a block party, really. And they would be selling food, and everybody from all the neighborhoods, all the sets from all over would come down there and buy the food and just hang out. And Squeeze was down there with the turntables. He had these big, tall PV speakers. And man, when I tell you, man, he was playing all the hits. Let It Rip and all that was out then. I mean, and then seeing him, then my sister went to a dance, and I was too young to go, so I might have been about 11, maybe at the time, 10 or 11. So my sister went to this dance, this little teen dance, and I put the pillows in the bed and covered up like I was in the bed, and I snuck and went to the party. You know what I'm saying? It was a party in the park. I snuck and went in the park to the party, and I stood around for a minute, and then the person at the door had to turn around and go do something, and I snuck in there because I was too young to be in the party. I snuck in there, and then I think this dude was called I don't know if it was Leroy Soul or Dale Wayne, but they were radio station DJs at KTRY, and I was up there watching them. You know, I was just, you know, blown away. And they gave me, one of them DJs saw, because I think I kept asking them to play Planet Rock or something, and the guy ended up giving me the 45 of Planet Rock, and that was the first record I ever owned. And man, I took that record home, and like I said, and I think I said on the previous podcast, I played that record over and over again until it like turned white. But it was Planet Rock, and my mom used to go to the club every now and then, and she would hear different songs, and she'll go shopping on Saturdays, and she'll always come back with some records. And so I heard her playing Play at Your Own Risk. And I had Planet Rock, which was the original, but with Africa Bambaataa. And then she was playing Play at Your Own Risk. And so Planet Rock was like the blueprint of that dance sound. I mean, African Bambaataa put that together. Soul Sonic Force is what they call the group. And she was playing Play at Your Own Risk. So when she did that Play at Your Own Risk, and I was like, man, that sounds like Planet Rock. So I had Planet Rock and Play at Your Own Risk. And so what I would do is tape both songs, and I put them together and made a long mix out of it. And so that's how I got into blending and mixing. So like I said, it's an art. It was an art. And I got into that, and like I say, I think Nard was in the 10th grade. Nard was in the 9th grade. Renard Whaley, which is my boy, Techno, DJ Techno. He was in the 9th grade. I was in the 10th grade. And I think it was about to be spring break. And so moms be eavesdropping a lot. So I'm thinking she overheard Nard and I talking about doing something for spring break. And so she brought up the idea, and I'm sure Pops had the major part, about, we asked her about renting the building, renting the TAC house. And we was like, if she rent the building with the money we make, we'll pay her back. And so she gave us a long speech, you know, about the building being damaged, but they charged us a damage deposit fee. And if they damaged something in there, she wasn't going to get her money back. So we threw the party. I think it was spring break. Like I say, I was popular from my class. Nard was popular from his class, and we hung around popular people. So we threw the party, and we thought it would just be our people going there, you know, maybe 30, 40 people, and we were cool. And come to find out, we had the graduating seniors at the party. We had all the juniors at the party. We had people from the middle school at the party. It packed out. And Rufus, Dexter, Garrison, Rufus Edmonds, this was my crew. I think Jap was there too. I'm not sure. DJ Jap, shout out, Strop City DJ. he was there too, I think. And what happened, it was they just got wild at the end of the night. We had the punch going, what we call trash can punch, you know what I'm saying? The Everclear, the oranges and apples and pineapples and fruit juices and all that thrown up in there. And we just threw a big all out party. And people got drunk and they decided to tear things up in the party. And when they did that, it kind of messed everything up. You know what I'm saying? It kind of threw us off. They had stained glass. They broke the stained glass. They tore up the toilets. They got the fire extinguishers just sprayed. Because even though people were partying and have a good time, and we had a lot of friends and fans and people that was down with us, we also, you know, you're gonna have those haters when you popular in a small town. And so we had those haters, and they were in full force. And so oh man, I'm gonna have to cut these headphones off. But yeah, they was in full force, so we had the haters. And all right. Okay, turn my headphones off. Hope y'all can hear me. All right, so they trashed the place. We didn't let mom know how bad they trashed the place. Needless to say, she said that they didn't want the money back, and so because we didn't get the money back. So needless to say, she didn't want the money back. We didn't have the money to give her back. Well, we made a killing that night. But we was like, man, we'll never get the building again because it was such a success. And the first party you throw, and it's a success. So we was like gassed up, man. I think we ended up going to the mall, getting Adidas sweatshirts, and I mean, we was balling out because you're looking at kids like 16, 15, 16 years old, and you walking around with right at a grand in your pocket, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I think we was charging $5, and then when it was packed, where they was talking about calling a fire marshal, and we didn't have no security, but a cop came by there, and he was like, and I tell you, the windows was like fogged up, man. And the cop said, hey, man, y'all ain't gonna be able to let nobody else up in here, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna end up having a fire hazard, we're gonna have to shut you down. So the people who tried to come in later, we was charging them like $7 to get in, 7, 8. And I think Rufus was even taking $10 from some of them and putting the money in his pocket. But you know, it was all to the G. But that's what motivated me to get into the DJing side of hip hop. Because the earlier years, like I stated on the last show and when we interviewed Rufus, I started off playing, you know, messing around with the scratching, but I was mostly into rapping. And then I stopped rapping. Well, I was doing both for a minute. And like I said, my mentor, Cedric Boogie Chaffel, was like, hey man, you gotta do one or the other. Cause I was rapping, scratching, producing. I was still trying to do everything. And he was like, man, you need to master at least one craft and then slowly get into the other. So at first I chose producing because you just making music, you know, and putting it together. But then with producing, I had to deal with a lot of different people coming around, a lot of different attitudes, a lot of different energies, and I had to match that energy making music. And that was up and down because I'm okay with people, but I wasn't okay with people. So, and then and before all that, before I even started rapping, I was dancing, you know what I'm saying? I was breakdancing. And speaking of breakdancing, like they were saying on there, breakdancing became a huge form because at first, I guess they thought it was just going to be a regular dance because, you know, you had the prep and the Smurf and all that stuff. But it wasn't nothing like breakdancing. So when breakdancing was introduced, it just went to a whole another level. So after Kool Herc threw his party, everybody came around. He was doing his little back and forth mixing and things on the turntables. That was kind of like the birth of hip hop. So it started there, then came the dancing, then came the MCs, then came the rappers, and so on and so forth. But next, after the music, which is the sound, came dancing. So this is how breaking, the art form of breaking, got introduced to hip hop.
The hip hop, you don't stop. Rock it out, baby, rubber to the boogity bang bang, the boogie to the boogity beat. Now what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat, and me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet. With a hip hop, the hippie to the hip, the hip hop, you don't stop. The rocker to the bang bang, boogie say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogity beat.
It started in the Bronx back in 1975. Violent street gangs were on their way out because too many kids were either dead or in jail. A teenager named Africa Bambaataa started the Zulu Nation at the Bronx River Projects. It was a new type of gang which focused in on music and dance. Neighborhood boys were called crews, and they challenged each other in wild acrobatic feats called breakdancing. The first youth culture since the 60s put a premium on individual imagination, and the hip-hop generation was born. If you live or work in New York City, you may recognize a street art form that they call hip-hop. It's rapping.
Well, it's one for the trouble, two for the fame. Coming to the Doggerlands, round the place. Hip hop, you don't stop. Now make
the staccato-like poetry that screams out of portable radios known as boxes. It's graffiti on clothes, on murals, and unfortunately the subway. And it's the breakdance where kids spin round and round like a top on a piece of a cardboard.
It's really something else, isn't it? What a body can actually do, it's amazing.
This new kind of art form? Or?
I wish I could be so loose.
Today, Africa Bambaataa still lives in the Bronx. He's an international recording star, a role model to thousands of city youngsters.
It's something to release their pressure, you know, instead of them going out there fighting, they could go out there and break dance against different other groups. The whole culture, which is called hip-hop, started in the West Bronx by a DJ by the name of Kool DJ Herc. Then it came across to the South and Southeast Bronx through myself, Africa Bambaataa. But now it has gone from the Bronx to Manhattan, all across America, is now internationally known hip-hop.
Hip-hop is now very hip. Since the movie Flashdance, breakdancing has popped up in commercials, music videos, nightclubs, and all over the media. For many of these kids, breakdancing is a dream. It's a way out of the streets. Like sports, it's a way to be somebody.
My dream is for me to be success. To go to Hollywood, see all the movie stars, be chilling with them. You know, just the way they chill.
For the chosen few, Harry Belafonte's new movie about the Bronx called Beat Street may make that dream come true.
Hollywood has invaded their community. Hollywood has come to them and said that we want what you've got.
Yeah, man. That breaking was nothing like that breaking. So it's like everything that was hip hop, I was into. So it's like when I started breaking, and you know, we were all doing it, you know, and we had a group, and we practiced hard day in and day out, trying to, you know, get ready for this big talent show. And I think Miss Raven, the one who put me in my, I did the first rap show on stage with at her show, her production actually. It was, if I remember correctly, it was James White, Anthony Black, Charles Doty, my cousin James, he could do all that pop locking stuff. Jay Moore, and Terrence Johnson, which we call Doty Mac. And I want to say Spencer was in that too. And James Spencer, he was in there. We call him Newt. And we had a group, and you know, we put it together. And to me in the group, the one that stood out the most was Jay Moore, because Jay Moore, he could do the windmill. You know, he could do that windmill. And I knew how to spin on the hand. I had to spin on the back. I could pop, you know, I was doing all that. But I couldn't get that windmill down. So to me, Jay Moore, he was tight. Now he wasn't too much when it came to pop, to waving and stuff. But that windmill, that dude to get on that and he get to spinning around, and man, and he'll tell you to this day, I used to, every time we would be at practice, I'll be like, hey man, you know, I pull him to the side, teach me how to do it, teach me how to do it. Man, I could not catch that windmill for nothing. And he was like, it ain't nothing to it. And then he ended up hurting his back a while back. And I'm talking about maybe 15 years ago. I still was asking him to show me how to do the windmill. He said, man, I messed my back up. I can't do it no more. But that was one that I always wanted to do, but I never learned. And but Jay Moore, so shout out to Jay. And breakdancing just took a whole different form. And like they say, it started being featured in movies. Flashdance, which is an old movie. And then Beach Street. It was in the movie Beach Street, but it hit commercials because of Harry Belafonte. He the one who put together Beach Street. And he was mainly, he said the people came to him and said they wanted our culture on the big screen. So he started putting together the Beach Street, and they would host different dance contests, and the winners get $2,500, and then they get to be in the movie Beach Street. So that's all the dancers that you're seeing in Beach Street was actually in the audition for the movie, you know, in the competition to part of the movie. But then, like I say, it hit mainstream when they did the Burger King commercial. This is the first commercial that rap with the breakdancing was featured in.
Play. After Burger King came to 9th Street, no one could say no to flame broiling.
Well, Bobby had to have one, and little Willie too. A sizzling flame broiled Waffle, cause nothing else would do. They love that juicy goodness, that flavor all locked in. No one could say no, no one could say no, no one could say no to flame broiling. Aren't you hungry, hungry for Burger King now?
And that's what it was. So then it, like I say, it went from the DJ to the dancing, then came your MCs. And the reason I wanted to break it down in that order is when hip hop turned 50, somebody got online, a youngster got online and was like, what's so fabulous about rap turning 50? You know, when you got R&B, you got rock, you just naming everything else. But rock didn't become a culture. Then so that had a lot to do with, you know, why it's different, why they look at it much different. It's a culture. And let's see. And when I say DJ, and this go out to my man Cootie, our favorite DJ, which is DJ Jazzy Jeff. So I got to give shout out when I talk about DJs, DJ Jazzy Jeff. And when I say things like that, other turntablism with turntablists that came up with 2 turntables and a mixer, they always say it was other DJs better than Jazzy Jeff, okay? Which I can't debate, because there are DJs that does a lot of more tricks, a lot of different things that DJ Jazzy Jeff don't do. But he took it to the forefront, and he's still at it. And he posts videos of him still doing it. So I guess being that he came from that era and he's still active and you're actually seeing what he does, makes him the god, I guess I should say, the GOAT of the scratching and mixing, because he came from that era and he's showing regularly that he's still doing it. So he may not be the best, so to speak, and don't do all the tricks and cuts, but I'm sure he can. Because we used to do them. I used to could scratch behind my back and all that stuff with the turntables. I did it all too. And like I said on the previous podcast, when I first got my little board, it took me forever I think I had this board brand new, top dollar, over $1,500, and didn't touch it for damn near 2 years because I was like, it didn't look like turntables to me. It looked like little CD platters, and I was supposed to do everything on this little pad, you know what I'm saying? So it took me a minute to go ahead and just try it. But Jazzy Jeff, he stands out. And though there may be other DJs that some people say may be better than Jazzy Jeff, they're not going to beat him by a long shot. And I'm just going to give you a taste of what makes him great. Here we go. Kuda. Shit, I got tired looking at that. That's that turntablism. And a lot of the DJs that came from the turntablism era, where you have to have 2 or 3 turntables and you mixing in with a mix in the middle and you got the mic, it was hard seeing the MP3 era, death to vinyl. It was hard seeing them coming out with a laptop with a DJ program and they're pushing buttons. You know, we call them push button DJs, you know. And it was just hard getting into that. But then a partner of mine, Big Luke, he was going to Bastrop High, and I seen him walking through my yard. I always tell the story. And I was like, I need to get into the DJing. And so at that time, I only had one turntable. So my two techniques, I only had one. And I was going to DJ with it. And then I downloaded a program, BPM Studio, you know, and I was like, okay, taking all that equipment, because back then it wasn't no speakers with the built-in amps. When you went, you had to take a amp. You had to have at least two speakers. You had to run wires from the speakers to the amp. And then if you didn't have a laptop, you brought your home PC. So you had your CPU, your mouse, your keyboard, and then that big ass monitor, and you had to sit on the table, and then you know you was doing your little push button thing. But on the same note, even if you brought the two turntables, it was a lot of equipment. It was a lot of equipment, and it took you longer to set up. So then we did that for a minute. Getting he'll come over in his little vehicle, and we'll load up the monitor, go back in, we get the amp, go back in, you gotta get speaker stands, go back in, you go get the speakers, and you had to make sure you had your mouse, and you know, it was work. It was work. And so, but we made it happen. And then I got a laptop, thanks to Fat Boy and his people, Bruchelle, hooked us up with laptops. And then I started taking the laptop. But the problem with the laptop, I wasn't so used to it. Mine used to drop all the time. Blah. And then now the hard drive was barely in there, so the laptop cutting off, and then I had to learn how to go inside of it, and that's how I became a computer technician and started working on laptops and all that stuff, because I had to work on my own laptop, so I knew how to work on other people's, and I would fix the laptops at Bastrop High, laptops at the middle school, computers at Bastrop High, computers at the middle school, because I had to redo mine so many times. So I picked up that skill and got paid. And so starting off with all that equipment, leading up to the board. And do I miss the vinyl? Sometimes, because every blue moon, I'd be like, hey, I need to go and get this vinyl, because now you can do the vinyls with the MP3s, just like you just saw Jazzy Jeff doing. But then I say, learn the newer technology, because it's less less equipment, I guess you should say. And so that's how I got deep into the DJing, and I let everything go, from my dancing, my rapping, producing, and I used to do it all, sample, and I don't work with some of the greatest locals, from Rodney to the Top of the South to the 318 Riders to groups in Crossett, groups in Rayville, I've Grambling. They all know DJ Black, and if they didn't go by the house, I would either DJ for them. So I was just thinking the other day, if I was to just put together my portfolio, I would have a pretty decent resume when it comes to this music thing and this DJing. But when I was listening to the Kool Herc story and saw how he threw that party and had all these people at it, and the people were coming to see him, that's how it was when Big Luke and I branched out in I want to say 1999. I started DJing for Bastrop High, and 99, right at 2000, because I know everybody was freaked out about Y2K. And I had him to go and talk to Miss Tappan. Shout out to Robin and Veronica Tappan. All these are my peoples, so I have to give them a shout out. And so I said, hey man, holler at Miss Tappan and let's do the dances at the high schools. And that's what kind of kicked off the legend of DJ Black, because it was DJ D Black and Big Luke on the ones and twos. And the way we were a tight dynamic duo, because I was on that drink back then. I was really on that drink. And Luke was on that sip. So it was different. I would drink though, you know, because I already had my thing about people, and then now I'm in the spotlight, you know, people coming up saying stuff. So I was on that drink. So I knew the hits. I would blend the songs in, but every now and then, at the peak hour when everybody was in the party, every blue moon, my mind would go blank. And you know, and they say it's hard to think when your mind go blank. And I was like, Luke, okay, man, I done played this, I played that, you know, what's next? So he'll say, hey, what you haven't played? You know, I'm like, man, I ain't played none of this over here, da da da. And so we would go back and forth. And then when he get in a standstill, he'll ask me, hey man, what need to come behind that? And so I got used to working with somebody. So it was like I said, we was like a tag team. I would DJ for 30 minutes and then he'll take over. I'll DJ for an hour and he'll say, hey, let me get it. And we just went back and forth. And so to see the Kool Herc segment on how he started is pretty much how I started. It was a party, we passed out flyers, and Nard and I did our thing. And then after all us graduated, went to college, started living our lives, like 5 or 6 years later, I got back in it through, I messed with Jap for a second, and then took another break for another 2 years, 3 years maybe. And then Luke, I had him to go to the school, talk to Miss Tappan, and then we just started doing it. So it went from DJing at high school to DJing things at the middle schools. We was doing like after the football games, playing music during the basketball games, and some of them threw a party after the basketball game, and we was helping the Star Steppers and the cheerleaders and everybody make money. So that's what was the motivation. And then to see all these people come together and just turn up. And back then they weren't fighting, they weren't shooting. It was just a big crowd of 300 plus people coming together, turning up. And we had made it so popular where we could just send a text or make maybe 3 to 5 phone calls to people and say, hey man, let's go do something tonight. You know, they'll say, man, it's boring. We'll see all kind of text messages saying it's boring, or they'll hit social media and say they bored. And we'll be like, well, shit, let's go get the Sherrod or something. Let's throw a party. So we'll text the main people, Skip, Fat Boy, Kaya, the Reese, and we would just text the people and they'll text their people. And before you know it, we got over 300, 400 people at the party. Police telling us, Chris Rella for them telling us, hey man, y'all can't let nobody else in here. It's gonna be a fire hazard, da 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 da. So we'll shoot him a little extra money on the side to keep quiet, you know, and you know, we did it. And so, but like I say, with that much popularity in a small town, of course you're gonna have your haters, you know what I'm saying? And so you get 1 or 2 people that say this, say that, try to crash the party, try to fight at the parties, try to throw salt on your name. So it's just, but that's all part of the territory. If they're not hating or talking about you, then you ain't really popping, you know what I'm saying? And so that's where my whole ground, per se, with the hip hop began. And I was gassed on Run DMC. But then I see a debate of people talking about who was the best storyteller. And when it comes to storytelling
it goes back to you can't tune out the Melly Males. You can't tune out the Curtis Blow. You can't tune out. I'm a Busy Bee. He told good stories. But then I was chilling like last week, and I was just going through my little, hip hop notes. And I remember the first, besides The Message, and see, like I said, I was gassed off Run DMC. But my mentor, Cedric Guru Chaffel, and y'all can search him on Facebook. But he was into Melly Mel and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Fives and a song called 8 Million Stories, and he was in all that. And so when I would go over to his crib, he was playing songs like that. Run DMC and them was too ABC style, I guess, rap to him, even though they told stories, because Hard Times was a good story. I mean, they You Talk Too Much. I mean, they got storytelling songs. But Melly Mel, The Message, was the real first storytelling song, and people want to, they sleep on him because he was part of the pioneers, and that's what I was explaining to my used to be co-host on here. That's what I was explaining to him, to Phantom. It's like when people talk about who's the best rappers, a lot of them, especially when you're talking to the Y generation, X, and then the new generation, they tend to leave out the pioneers of when rap actually started. So when I do my research, The Message, in which has been sampled over and over again, but Melly Mel, which was Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, came out with The Message, where he told a whole story and he described the scene of living in the ghetto. And I played a snippet of it the other week. But when he came out with telling the whole story, broken glass everywhere, people pissing on the stairs, no, they just don't care. He couldn't stand the smell, can't stand the noise, got no money to move out. I guess I got no choice. Rats in the front room, roaches in the back, junkies in the alley with the baseball bat. So when he came out with those lyrics telling the whole story, and then I have to think about what Tresh said: if you ain't been to the ghetto, don't go to the ghetto, because you wouldn't understand the ghetto. So he described the whole ghetto scene, and you can imagine that, because it was people actually living in the ghetto, seeing these stairs that he's talking about with the broken 40-ounce bottles. You walk to the staircase smelling like piss. So he described the whole scene. So when people say who's the best storyteller, they want to jump on. I seen a post between Cube and Scarface, and I'm like, y'all leaving out the main people, the pioneers. But the pioneers got slept on because rap was in its beginning stage. So very seldom do you hear people say Just Ice when they talk about good rappers. And Just Ice was a hell of an MC. You don't hear him talk about Big Daddy Kane. And he wrote for a lot of people that was out there. And but as soon as you ask somebody who's the greatest rapper, when they going from, they don't mention the ones before Rakim. So they go from Rakim on up. They even forget about LL. And LL album, Radio, that broke grounds. You know, that had it going. But the hottest group out, you know, was the ones I looked up to, the Run DMCs. Run DMC peaked number 53 on the Billboard's 200. and number 14 on the R&B hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So the album charted, and it became the first rap album to go certified gold. Okay, and that was in 1984. All right, and back then, you release an album, and that album, you didn't have to do it every year. You may have one album, and that album may last you 2 to 3 years, like Run DMC did. And that album there, that went gold for them, that was a tough album. You know what I'm saying? It was hot. You Talk Too Much. All them jams was on there. You know what I'm saying? Then, to show you how bad and consistent this group was, Raising Hell. And I was in Oakland when this was out. It was the first platinum and multi-platinum hip hop record. You know what I'm saying? The album was first certified platinum on July 15, 1986. 3 times platinum. And so the other one went gold in 84, then they come back in 86 and they went platinum. The first rap group to go platinum. Raising Hell. Run DMC. So that's why that was that group. I know how to pick hits, and I know how to pick hot groups and good music. And Run DMC set the bar. They set the bar. So, and then when they say who was the first white rapper, okay, who's the first white rapper? I see people saying MC Search. MC Search was more Jewish. Then they say Eminem. So basically they skipping all over the white boys. The Beastie Boys was white as they can be. They skip over them. That License to Ill album, off the chain. But it was the first rap album to reach #1 on the Billboard 200 chart. And you know why it went #1. It's not just because they were white, but hell, they had both the whites and the blacks digging their music. You know what I'm saying? So Rick Rubin and Russell them knew what they were doing when they brought out the Beastie Boys. And so they sounded like Run DMC a little bit. They stole they had Run DMC style with some rock and roll in the music too. And they were comical. They made you laugh. They was different. They rapped about things that teenagers was into. Drugs, ecstasy, popping pills, smoking weed. And that's what they rapped about. And so when they came out rapping about that stuff, hell, we got motivated too. We used to have the Spanish Fly It Out parties, you know. But that group came out and did some things. License to Ill. So if you get a chance, I mean, you could just bump that album from the beginning all the way to the end. You don't have to pause. Just hit play and let it play. The wife caught me listening to them one day. We was all just lounging, and I put it on the television, and I was just going back, you know what I'm saying, listen to that old school real rap. And chilling, let me clear my throat. And then they go out, and then man, look, I lost my mind. The video somewhere circulating on social media, but I hadn't heard it in so long. And then to hear them chilling on the corner on a hot summer day. It's me and my posse and MCA, a lot of beer, a lot of cursing. Man, look, that them boys was hot. And they stayed hot. You know, they lost one of their members, you know what I'm saying? But the group was hot, and I think they was unique. They was ahead of their time. And yeah, but they had the first album, hip hop, to reach #1. And that says a lot. But they were the first white rappers. And then people want to sleep on MC Hammer. Now he did his thing too. I think he was the first to go diamond. The first, yeah, he went diamond. Let's see. I hope this don't cut me off. MC Hammer. Let's see. I don't see it. Okay, I don't see it, but MC Hammer, I think, was the first rapper to go diamond, because I know he went like 13 times, 14 or 13 times platinum. And so he was hot. He was like at one point the hip hop rap whatever Michael Jackson, because that man came out of nowhere, right out of Oakland, California, roots in Bastrop, Louisiana, and he just blew up. I'm talking about his videos were damn near $100,000, $1 million videos like Michael Jackson was making back in the day. The dude was hot. And then people want to sleep on Sir Mix-a-Lot. And like I said, I could go on and on for days and days with good quality MCs besides Rakim, Tupac, Biggie, and Nas. No, it's so many. And like I said, they want to sleep on LL. And when LL first came out, I was kind of etchy on LL because I was a Run DMC fan. And he kind of came out sounding like them, but he was a solo guy. You know, he was yelling just like they did. And I was like, okay, so I was torn between the two. But his lyrics were so dope, you know, that my radio, and then my friend, my family, Danny Lenore, when he first heard LL, he lost his mind, you know what I'm saying? So he walking around there, my radio, believe me, I like it loud. And like I said, we all had big radios. And speaking of the big radios, I was supposed to give a shout out back then. I think the biggest radio that was in the city was probably by Cedric Williams. We called him Ced Lynn Williams. He had to have the biggest radio. And he let me see that radio. He let me borrow it. I might have been 12. And we had a end of school party. And he was digging my sister. And so he let me take the radio to school. When I tell you the radio was bigger than me, almost. And it was tough. And it drank batteries, some size D batteries. I think he has held about 8 of the batteries. But he let me take it to school for the end of school day, man. He trusted me. I was that whipped over my sister. But he let me take that big old radio to school. And then another person that contributed that had a nice size radio, a good radio, was Bo Trotter, Quickman Trotter, which is a police now in Louisiana. But he also had a nice size radio, and I was down with him. And then a guy named Hollywood actually gave me a radio. So it's like that was the thing to do, the thing to be, thing to do. He showed me how to record on it and all that stuff because he saw how I was sitting around waiting on Steadily and them to get the radios and things. And he's like, hey man, you can just use the, get this radio. I don't use it. I got another radio I'm finna get, blah, blah, blah. So he gave me my first radio that I owned before my mom got me a nice size radio, Panasonic, I think it was, for Christmas, for that following Christmas. He gave me his radio in the summertime he let me have. So it's like, I was just destined to do what I do, you know what I'm saying? And so to start back way at 12, 13 years old and still to be doing this today. And then you got people jumping in the game, hadn't even been in the game 5 to 10 years saying, oh, they the GOAT. Everybody is self-proclaimed GOAT now. So it's just like nobody want to take time and give umbrage to the ones who've been there, the pioneers. And that's been going on. Because if you, like I say, if you look at the Melly Mels, the Grandmaster Flash, Kool Herc, all of them, Africa Bambaataa, well, Bambaataa blew up and, you know, then he had his demise a few years ago. But people have a hard time showing homage or giving praise to ones before them. Another cool storyteller that they don't talk about is Sir Mix-a-Lot. All people know Sir Mix-a-Lot from his Baby Got Back. They don't know the Posses on Broadway. He had Square Dance Rap where he told a whole story about Square Dance rapping. Rapping Duke, he was okay. I think Do It Rock, he liked the Rapping Duke, but I'm like, he was okay. But it was a whole lot of rappers that were storytellers. Curtis Blow did a song called Basketball, and he rapped about everything that happened from all the Dr. J's and all them that was playing basketball at the time. But he's not listed when they say, well, who's the best storyteller? Who's a great storyteller? It jumps on Slick Rick. Then somebody tried to throw Cube up in there, and Cube took a beating. But if they go back and listen to America's Most by Ice Cube told a lot of stories on that album. You know what I'm saying? And I talked about it. I got on their little post and was putting my 2 cents in. But that song when he said singing about the nursery rhymes, You Can't Fade Me, from the Projects, Once Upon a Time in the Projects. You know what I'm saying? So they was telling smooth stories. And he also wrote Eazy-E's Cruising Down the Street in My 6-4. So the Boys in the Hood. So you can't sleep on Cube. But when they talk about storytelling, all they want to say is Slick Rick. All they want to say is Scarface. Other rappers told stories too. But you have to do your research. Then when they talk about MC, they want to sleep on KRS-One. Okay? Now, growing up, I liked the Juice Crew, which was MC Shan, you had MC Shan, you had Roxanne Shante, you had Biz Markie, you had Big Daddy Kane, you had Master Ace, and what's the guy that speak with the list was the best rapper out of all of them? And they took him on Poison. DJ Kool and Polo, I can't think of the guy's name. But it'll come to me because I was just talking about him with my ex-co-host the other day. But I was gassed off them because everything they made was tight. Roxanne Shante and Biz came out with that beatbox thing. Then Roxanne came out first, I think, with the Roxanne Revenge. And she was talking about UTFO had a song called Roxanne Roxanne. And before they can get their girl, find a girl to rap, Marley Marl and Roxanne Shante heard the record, and then they quickly went to the radio and went in a little studio real quick, put it together and put it on the radio. Why'd you have to make a record about me, the ROXANNE? And then she blew up with it. And then UTFO came undercover and came back and had their Roxanne and called her the real Roxanne. But the Juice Crew was what was popping. You know what I'm saying? Everything they was making. MC Shan had that Down by Law album. Man, I couldn't wait to get it. Every song on that Joker bumped. Then Biz Markie was came out and he had the Pickin' Boogers and Make the Music with Your Mouth Biz and all that. And then Big Daddy Kane was always hot because not only could he rap, he entertained. He was a dancer too. And speaking of Kane, I'm gonna throw this in while I'm talking about the Juice Crew. when they asked Kane, see, Kane and Rakim always kind of had a little kind of beef or whatever. And Rakim's DJ was friends with Big Daddy Kane. So the reason that they never did get into a big beef because Eric B, which was Rakim's DJ, he was the main thing. He was the dude. Let me see what else it's like going out. Okay. Yeah, he was the main guy. Because like I say, back in the day, the DJs were everything. Even if you go back and look at Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Jazzy Jeff was the DJ. Run DMC, Run used to be the DJ to Curtis Blow. Eric B and Rakim, Eric B was the DJ. So the DJs starting out were the main ones up front. But when they asked, when they was doing the verses, when the pandemic hit and Timberland and Swiss Beats then was doing the verses, they wanted Rakim to go against Big Daddy Kane. Because I always said that Rakim took Big Daddy's Kane kind of style and cadence, flipped it and made it, you know, better to, you know, and what it is, put his own style to it. And so they wanted them two to go against each other, but they ended up getting KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane to go against each other. And when they asked Kane, and I may show this on my next hip hop podcast, third Wednesday in March. But when they asked Kane, they was like, Kane, man, why you didn't go against Rakim? You know, KRS was all right, but people want to see you and Rakim go at it. And they was like, so why y'all won't do the verses now? And then Big Daddy Kane said, yeah, the verses would have been cool with us sitting in our living rooms or sitting at home in our bedrooms or whatever in our comfortable space, rapping, you know, playing songs, you know, going through our catalogs and our music. He said, but Rakim didn't want to see him on stage, live and in person. And so all the Rakim fans, oh man, Rakim would kill Big Daddy Kane. But what Kane was saying was, Kane is a performer. Rakim is a poet, a rapper, a lyricist. So he would have been up there just holding the mic, rapping his, but Kane was gonna get up there and do his dancing, do his New Jack Swing dancing. And so he was gonna put on a show, and that show was gonna kill Rakim. So he was like, no, they got who they wanted. They did it right. They did me and KRS, they did it right. Because Rakim didn't want to see me on stage, is basically what Kane said. And so back to KRS-One. I was kind of iffy at first about KRS-One because I was gassed up on the Juice Crew. So they had a song called The Bridge, where they were saying hip hop started in Queens or whatever, Queens Bridge. And then KRS-One being from the Bronx, and that's where history give the credit for hip hop coming out at, is the Bronx. Then it went to Queens with Red Alert and all of them. I think it was Red Alert and Grandmaster Flash. I think all of them was in Queens. And so Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One came out with called The Bridge Is Over. And when I first heard The Bridge Is Over, because I'm bumping The Bridge hard, I knew all the words, hip hop, started out in the park, you know what I'm saying? I was like, and so they started out in the dark. They used to do it out in the park. Man, he was going out. MC Shane, he had that smooth voice, and he knew how to say them words, and he knew how to deliver. So I'm Juice Crew all the way. You know what I'm saying? And then The Bridge Is Over. Beat came in there, the beat hot. Then he came in there with a simple ABC, the first thing anybody know how to play on a piano. You know what I'm saying? Dun 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 dun. Then he came, the bridge is over, the bridge is over. And I was like, man, okay. So then he came in there and then he was dissing him. Magic Mouth is used for sucking. MC Shantae ain't good for nothing, you know, steady fucking. I mean, he was going off on him. Dude, he ripped him. And I was like, man, he ripping my crew. But on the same note, he was tight. The rhythm, his delivery. I couldn't take nothing from him, his voice. I was like, man. So when people say KRS-One trash and he ain't this, y'all don't know. You just not into lyrics. And see, hip hop in the early days, the early years, it was about lyrics. You had a few coming out with the little dance songs, you know, but that was way late in the game. And then when Uncle Luke and them stepped in there with Throw That D and the Pretty Tony and all them came in. But the rappers from New York was known for lyrics. So we weren't looking for no beats to dance to. We was waiting to hear what they had to say. And then when LL came out with the original Rock the Bells, with the bells actually going, not the and some girls want, because not that one. He came out with just percussions and bells, and he was just rapping. I know you're getting tired of my scratching and drum, so I know I want to jam to the maximum. Man, he went off. So I came a little something that of an L came up with something funky called Rock the Bells. And then he did that with the bells and you know, and so he took rap to another level with that Rock the Bells. So if you haven't heard the original Rock the Bells, go to your YouTube, go to your Spotify, go to your iTunes or whatever. Do the original Rock the Bells. He took rap to another level. And that's, I think, is what got him in the GOAT talk, that original Rock the Bells. Not to mention all the albums he ever put out went platinum. But as somebody said, just because an album go platinum, that doesn't make you good or the best or, you know, listed amongst the greats. Well, back then it did, because you had to pretty much earn your accolades. You had to pretty much earn it. That was back when Apollo was kicking. When you couldn't go on Apollo, they didn't just spare you because you can perform or whatever. You had to be good to even survive Apollo. And that's the era LL and them came out of. And like I say, I was scrolling, getting material for the hip hop show for tonight, and I ran across Kool Moe Dee. And you know, Kool Moe Dee was in Beach Street, and he did the Santa rap. And so the first song I really heard from Kool Moe Dee, and it was a good storytelling song next to The Message. Then came Kool Moe Dee with that Go See the Doctor. When I heard Go See the Doctor and he told that whole story about how he met this girl and she burnt him, you know what I'm saying? She gave him gonorrhea or whatever. And he rapped that whole song, and y'all need to go look this up. All these songs I'm name calling, go check them out. Whether you a new generation, older generation, it don't matter. Anything I name gonna be hot unless I tell you it's not. So go check out Go See the Doctor, Kool Moe Dee. Check out his story. He told that story so tight. And then after that, like I say, we had Posse on Broadway, Rapping Dude, Posse on Broadway. And then Slick Rick just shut the whole thing down with Lottie Dottie. And then that's when super classic in hip hop, Lottie Dottie. He came out that damn Lottie Dottie, We Like to Party, and then had Dougie Fresh beatboxing behind it. You couldn't just you couldn't top it. That was like classic, super classic. And like I say, it's so hot. Snoop Dogg had to redo it, and that's still one of Snoop Dogg's biggest, you know, songs. And he took the whole story and words from Slick Rick. and he did the West Coast version of Lottie Dottie. And go and check it out. And so storytelling is an art form, I guess, by itself. And don't get me wrong, even Pop told good stories. Biggie told a story or two. But I'm gonna tell you, okay, Scarface, he told good stories. He had some cool stories. Only problem with Scarface, with me, the stories were tight, but I'm more into, I guess, a more up-tempo type hip-hop. I really didn't care for the slow, sad song. That man cried till I see the man die. That was cool lyrics, you know, but that ain't nothing I would just put in my damn deck to go get turned up at the club. And I like to be turned up, you know what I'm saying? When I'm going out, I gotta be turned up. He had one or two. I used to like his Money and the Power. That was tight. Tupac, Brenda's Got a Baby. That was one of the tightest storytelling songs right there. I mean, he broke it down. He let you know. He told you he was going to tell us a story. You know, Brenda's got a baby, but barely even got a brain. A damn shame. The girl could hardly spell her name. Man, that dude went off. Then he said, well, let me tell you how it affects the whole community. And Brenda never really knew her moms. Dude, if you want to hear storytelling, go back to that. Why y'all didn't mention Pop when y'all was talking about good storytellers, the best storytellers? Pop, that Brenda's Got a Baby was storytelling enough, and it ain't gonna be too many songs that can mess with that when it comes to storytelling, because he broke it down. Then he did a video and showed majority of the things he was rapping about. So, you know, like I say, Face Mob, don't get me wrong, I love Face, the homage to Face, you know what I'm saying? The Ghetto Boys, because then, you know, they showed their ass on that classic Mind Playing Tricks on me, you know. He good. I just didn't care. His music was a little too slow, and being gassed up off New York rap, and then checking out the West Coast with Egyptian Lover and Ice-T, then Luke and them coming through with the booty music for the club. It was just hard hearing all of that, and then you got to go to Scarface, and then when the Hot Boys hit, Juvenile tells some good stories. And so when you talk about storytelling rap, it's a lot of them out there, and they have some elite. So you just really can't just say who's the best storyteller. You know, you really can't say, because you probably can say who's the top 5 storytellers. And when you say top 5, that number don't matter on who's the best. You know, I mean, you can do that, but I was just shocked when Tupac don't get mentioned in best storytellers but like I say, that was when rap was still kind of pioneering, even though when he came out, him and Biggie then was creating different styles for the 90s, because we was getting rid of the 80s and we needed a spark in the 90s. And Brenda's Got a Baby came out like in 91. And so that was the new rap, the first rap of the 90s that everybody had to get on. Then you had, like I say, Grand Puba, EPMD came out like in the 80s, late 80s, and they was kind of sounding a little bit like Rakim, and they had a little beef going. And I'm probably gonna play all this next week when I talk about MCs. This show was more about the evolution of hip hop, where it started from, with Kool Herc, House Party, and how breakdancing came from that, you know, and hip hop went mainstream with the Burger King commercial, and Beat Street, you know, came, you know, the movies, breaking and stuff. So that's what this one was mostly about. I'm gonna get more into MCs on the next one, because a lot of people just thought that hip hop is rappers. And hip hop is way deeper than just you know, than rappers. And like I say, it's a culture, it's a style. Dapper Dan, you know what I'm saying? Came out with a lot of the rappers' clothing. And I knew a lady, Griselle, I can't think of her. She's out of Mississippi. And she did a lot of their chains and with the name chains and stuff. And I know her personally. I just can't think of her name. But her last name was Griselle. And she did that. She had a brother named Vincent Griselle. I have a brother named Vincent. Y'all can probably Google them. They're probably still on there. But she makes jewelry, customized jewelry. Shit, I wasn't even thinking. I could have been had me a DJ Black chain, you know what I'm saying, sitting up there with. But hey, I never wanted to be too flashy, so I kind of stayed in the background a little bit. But yeah, so it's more. Then we're gonna talk about the hot MCs, female. And Megan and Nikki got their little thing going, and I don't even see why Nikki even participated in that. It's kind of like when you know you're a real certified GOAT and somebody call you out, and then you know it's kind of like if Jordan come out of retirement and try to go against LeBron. Stay where you at, because you already went out on top. You didn't really go out 100% on top because you came back for the Wizards and you were trash. But when you go out on top, stay out. Like Brady, stay out, because you ended on a good note. Stay out. Actually, he came back and was kind of trash. So when you go out on top, stay out. Nikki didn't have no business getting in that beef with Megan. Because number one, if you're gonna do that, she should have came out like Drake did when he went against Meek Mill. Not only did Drake spank Meek Mill on his ass, he put together a hit that actually rode the charts. You know what I'm saying? So you don't go against somebody as hot as Megan, as many followers as Megan have. Lyrically, Nikki murders some of the top guys out there. Nobody, I don't care what, no Barbie fan, what they call the other Megan's followers. I can't think. But I don't care what nobody say, lyric wise, Nikki killed any female MC. Majority of the female MCs is out there today. And that's including Cardi B, Ice Spice, because she really can't rap. Ice Spice, she cool. She's a cool gimmick rapper. But Megan can't mess with her, because Megan said a lot of ABC, anybody can rap type stuff. She's been getting a little better, but I'm pretty sure a lot of them have ghostwriters. And then people want to say Remy Ma, okay? Don't y'all know Remy Ma is married to Papoose, one of the hottest freestylers, lyricists on the planet? He just don't blow up because their music sucks. Their production sucks. The only reason Nikki not competing with Megan is because Nikki's music sucks. If Nikki would go and get the 808 Mafia, the same people that's on the charts, Blueface and them using, 310 Baby and them using, Lil Baby using, when she jump on their features, she rock. But when she doing her solo shit, she go and get these producers that's making that regular music. If she come out with club music on a regular basis, she need to do a whole album and do club music. And club music don't mean shaking your ass music. I'm saying music that you can bop to, that they're gonna play in the club, that's gonna be hot on the charts, that people can sing to. And if they want to get up and bend over and shake their ass like all the women doing, you'll be able to do that too. But when they come in with these beats trying to display their lyrics. And I got a little artist that I've been dealing with, and the only reason I haven't come out with him is because he making music he like. And I'm gonna say this to the artists out there, because I want to start displaying some of the artists, local artists, independent artists, especially the ones from the 318. I want to start playing, you know, some of the music. But what I try to explain to them, even when I first started DJing, I wanted to play music that I like. Okay. So at 16, I'm playing what I like. And that's Kid and Play, Salt and Pepper, you know, Heavy D. I'm playing songs like that. Actually, I think this is before Heavy D, but right when Heavy D and the Boys was coming out, they was on Uptown's Kicking It. But I wanted to play songs like that because Uptown Kicking It, that whole album was hit. But it wasn't what the people wanted to hear. They wanted to hear, hey, we want some P. They wanted to hear Throw That D. They wanted to hear Throw That P. They wanted to hear Sally That Girl. They wanted to hear MC Shy D. They wanted to dance. They didn't, you know, they didn't care about Smooth Operator by Big Daddy Kane. And so that's why that song, I think it's P-Funk or something, but they say, give the people what they want. You got to get the people what they want. And so I try to tell the rappers that come to me, the hot, you know, new independent rappers that's coming to me saying, Black, check this out and play this and pass it to your DJs that you know, and, you know, help me get on. You can't send me nothing, you know, that not competing with what's on the radio today. It's not in the top 10 or 20 in the radio hits today. And I try to explain to them, like I told the artists that I haven't touched. When I talked to him the other week, because it's a big seminar type deal. There's some people going to be in town, and he wanted to go and check them out. And I was going through his little song list, and I like, can't play that. We ain't playing that. We ain't doing this. And so I had to break it down to him. And he was like, well, I don't listen to other rappers. I said, that's the problem. Because I was telling him about the 310 Baby and that song that Blueface got on the remix. And I was telling him about it. And then I showed him the video of the crowd when them guys performing that song. I said, we need stuff like this. I say, the stuff you rapping, the future sounds and all that shit, that's cool. But them people who looking to sign people, they looking for hit makers. They looking for radio hits. They looking for, you know, songs that's going to make history, that's going to turn up. And when you play it, whether you play it in Texas, whether you play it in New York, whether you play it in Miami, whether you play it in Louisiana, it's going to rock. And that's what they're looking for. So they don't listen. A lot of the newer artists don't listen. And there's some good ones out there. 318 got talent. Bastrop got talent. Monroe got hella talent. But they making that locally sounding music when people are looking for global. And so, like I say, in Nicki with the Megan thing, let it go. If Nicki was gonna come out, she should have went and got her a hot producer that appeals to the 25s and under. And she could have iced that track with some real lyrics. All that and laughing and all that shit in the song. It's like she committed suicide. She shot herself. You know, I mean, we listen to the lyrics, you saying some cool words, but your beat whack. And then you just stop rapping in the middle of the damn song like you was high or some shit. That was not, you can't get high and when somebody as hot as Megan and call yourself gonna spit. That was the lamest thing I ever seen, you know what I'm saying, this year. It was Nicki. So if I was on the Breakfast Club and I was Charlemagne them, and this was Breakfast Club. I'll be Charlemagne. Nikki get donkey of the day for even trying to say anything to Megan on that whack ass beat. You know what I'm saying? And those incomplete lyrics when she knows she spit better than that. But it ain't too many females messing with her. Papoose, I feel like, was writing Remy stuff. And now they ain't together, she probably gonna get that Butcher dude that she messing with if she come out with anything writing. But yeah, so you can't put her in there. And then people try to say that Safari was writing for Nicki. Like I say, this is a whole nother hip hop show. But the deal is with that, when you an artist, Nicki says she writes her own stuff, and she does. Even Lil Wayne said that. When you see co-written by Safari, co-writing a lot of times are the hooks, or they were going together at the time. So a lot of times when you hear artists say song was co-written, they're making sure if that song blow up that the person they're with getting paid. That's why people are putting their kids, rappers are putting their kids' names on songs. Drake got his son name, let him say a little verse or something on there, and now boom, he on the album, so he get royalties for life. So when you in relationships like that, and her and Safari was struggling, trying to make it, she put him down as a co-writer. He did hooks. He wasn't writing no full song for Nicki. They had a whole strung out interview, and they even asked Lil Wayne them and different people that worked with Nicki, and they were like, hey, she held with that pen. So Remy Ma is yet to say that she writing her own stuff. And Megan, she could be writing her stuff as hell. I think my girl can write the shit Megan say. So that ain't, I'm not impressed with Megan. Cardi got some hellified writers because she got the look and she got the delivery and the voice. So she able to get away. But they cannot be listed as top MCs if you're not writing your stuff. And when Drake first came out, people always say Cash Money Drake, but I'm gonna go back to Mixtape Drake. When Mixtape Drake was out, and I was talking to the daughter about this, Mixtape Drake was a totally different Drake. I was gassed up on Drake when he first came out on the mixtapes. Then he joined, and Nicki was hot on the mixtapes. Then he joined Cash Money. The Cash Money Drake was hot as hell because we was hearing a little singing and he doing all of the sounds and all that shit. But then when he went past the Cash Money Drake and started being on his own, I still had love for him because of the mixtape and the Cash Money. And I made myself kind of like the solo Drake. And then he made like another album and another album. The Hotline Bling was hot. But it's like shortly after that, Drake slowly started, fading a little bit. But like I say, that's another episode that I'm gonna talk about when I break down the MCs. But that's another episode because they wanted me to touch up on a lot of that tonight. But I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna put the MC show will probably be my next Wednesday, in the third Wednesday in March. Let me see what date that is. Hold on. Let's see. All right, let's see. March 3rd, Wednesday in March. Let's see. That's gonna be on the 20th. Okay. So yeah, I guess all my podcasts on hip hop gonna be around the 20th. Yeah, they're gonna be around the 20th. So Yeah, the 20th, I'm gonna break down more about the MCs, and we're gonna touch on hot MCs from the male rappers to the female rappers and all that. This one was more on the evolution, where it came from. DJ started it, so I had to tell about the party Kool Herc through that everybody went to. How the DJs contributed, how the DJs are the main ones who started hip hop, from the DJs playing the music to the dancers to the MCs, and now you got rappers, which you know is everlasting. And so that's the main segment. But the next one I do would be March 20th on hip hop, and I'm going to talk about the MCs. I want to know what's the top five, who in who's top five, and I got people that's wanting to come on and voice their opinion when we start talking about the MCs and why they hot or why they not. And I was just saying that they sleep on the pioneers because they were creating the rap. They were creating the hip hop. They were creating the culture. So they didn't get a lot of the credit. When people start talking about good MCs, they want to start with Slick Rick and Slick Rick and Rakim. Then you get into Nas and Tupac and then Biggie, you know, but it's deeper than that. They didn't start. And when they talk about female rappers, they don't. A few will go ahead and mention MC Lyte because she did stand out. She took rap to another level. But they sleep on Roxanne Shante. And I'm gonna do the numbers on the next one because I'm gonna be breaking down how they came out, what they sold, how hot they were. So they sleep on Roxanne Shante. And I think it was it Dimples D? If it wasn't Dimples D, it was a D that came out. They used to be battling before then, you know. So it's like I'm gonna educate you from the evolution where it started, and so just so people can see where it came from. So I'm gonna start with the first kind of female rappers that was out, that was catching on, had everybody catching on. A lot of people sleep on the Boss. Y'all need to Google the Boss. I think she was AMG's sister. So just type in the Boss AMG sister. She was hot. Yo-Yo was cool, but I think Ice Cube was writing for Yo-Yo, so I can't. But Boss, she was writing for herself. Go check out Boss. AMG sister, she was a type female MC. Then they sleep on Mia X. I never hear Mia X name come up when they talking about who's the best female rapper. They sleep on Queen Latifah. She was coming with it, even though she became commercialized, but her underground stuff, her projects was hot. But like I say, the fact that a lot of people try to sleep on goddamn KRS-One, man, y'all need to go back and check out the Criminal Minded album. Then the album after Criminal Minded. Now he was slowly losing me a little bit, but I stuck with him with the By Any Means Necessary. Now, don't get me wrong, By Any Means Necessary was a tight ass album, but he was dropping knowledge, and I had got used to him shooting up, bang banging. So when he started dropping that knowledge, it took me a minute. But what made me know, besides the songs that he had already did off the Criminal Minded album and his little freestyles and things that they was playing on Kiss and BLS in New York when he would be on the radios. What got me, and the reason everybody need to go back and re-listen to all the people that's on, KRS-One garbage, I hate KRS-One. His music wasn't what you wanted to hear, but his lyrics was always there. When he did My Philosophy, and he stopped the music in the video and did it a cappella, when you hear how he broke that down, that's certified that he was in the game and that he wasn't nothing to play with. He'd say, now let's begin. What, where, why, and when. It'll all be explained like instructions to a game. See, I'm not insane. In fact, I'm kind of rational. Make people ask, man, that dude, who is more dramatical? This one, that one, the black one, or the white one? I kick a punk, then I jump up to attack one. KRS-One is just the kind of guy to leave a crew straight up to your face and dish you. I was like, come on, man, dude. They can't mess with it. So it's like, he ain't nobody you want to play with. But a lot of people who miss that era, they don't want to mention KRS-One because he don't have the radio hits. He don't have the Grammy music. But his lyrics is so hot, and he was so hot. When, like I said, when he introduced Just Ice was already rapping with Mantronix and all them. But when he hooked up with KRS-One, because KRS-One was just so hot at one point, when he came in there with that motion, and then KRS-One in the back doing a little reggae, dum da dum da 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 dum, and then they rapping on that dude. Then Steady B was already out. Steady B, a hellified lyricist. Steady B, he had been out for a second, hooked up with KRS-One, went to another level. So everybody was kind of hooking up with KRS-One too, and their career went higher when they hooked up with it. So don't sleep on the KRS-One, Boogie Down Production. And my crew, Nard and I guess Tater too, we were so hooked on that Boogie Down Productions and Chuck D. When people mention great MCs, no one mentioned Chuck D from Public Enemy. The voice, the lyrics, but at that time, they were dropping knowledge, dropping science, just like Rakim. And see, Rakim stood out because his voice. And when he first came out, like I said, with Eric B for President, listen, My Melody, I didn't like his voice when he first came out. Check out My Melody, you know. Marley Marl was doing his music, so I knew the beat was tight, but his voice just didn't set. Then when he came out with Eric B for President, it's been a long time, I shouldn't have left you. I was like, okay, that was on rhyme and step two. So now go back before then when he did I guess Eric B for President and My Melody with the whistling. It was I don't know whether he was rapping too slow and his voice was, I don't know, it just sounded like his nose was stopped up and his voice sounded old to me. Like I said, it sounded like the Double Dutch Bus dude trying to rap. And but it grew on me. But when he came out with that, just talk about that, I was hearing that beat. And I think I heard it in a mix on BLS or Kiss or something from New York first. And then he came on there, it's been a long time, I shouldn't have left you. Without a dope rhyme and step two, I was like, okay, now this is time's up. Sorry I kept you. I was like, okay, that dude, shit. I knew he was gonna be hot then. And then that Paid in Full, that beat was so damn dope. He took that Don't Look Any Farther type beat, man, and they put a little dub reverb on that joker and seemed like they threw some James Brown or something behind there, and man, he came on there and dropped it. And then what's that other one? Then Follow the Leader was dope. So he got some cool songs. He came out, proved himself. And they can say, everybody say, you know, rap God. And then the guy explained to me that God, because he was, you know, 5% Nation, and he was dropping lyrics. So that's why they call him God MC. They're not saying God MC as if you bow down to him. God MC. But on a lot of people's #1 list, Rakim is on that list. He's in the, if he's not #1, he's in the top 3. If he's not in the top 3, he's definitely top 5, because the brother came through and his style and lyrics changed the rap game. So just like MC Lyte. Then some people say, well, Milk D was writing for MC Lyte. Milk D never came forth and said that. And then I'm gonna have to go back and look at interviews and see, do Lyte say she actually write her own stuff? because her brother was Milk D. She kind of shattered their career because there was a whole lot of rappers coming out at that time, male rappers and duo rappers, and her brother Audio too. They were tight, but it was just the game at that time was so saturated with all these different rappers coming out. And when MC Lyte came out at their camp, her and K Rock or whatever her DJ was named, and then people jumped on him because he favored Al B. Sure. They was all from the same area, and her voice just kind of took off. Paper Thin did it for her. Then and she was writing her own stuff. And the newer generation don't understand, you know, and don't know where it came from. But just go and Google MC Lyte and go check out the Paper Thin and get to know the old hip hop where it started, and it'll make you better kind of gravitate away from, run away from this new rap, because it's just not, it's not the same. And that's why I say I don't believe the new rap should be labeled hip hop. I just think it just needs to be labeled rap, because I don't see it as hip hop. I really don't. But before I get out of here, once again, y'all need to go check out One More. And like I said, I hope she get the right producers and promotion for these guys, because they are some talented young guys. And like I said, that's the dad from the legendary group Boyz II Men. And I was just shocked that he didn't just put them on his label or something. I don't know, because I'm sure he still got ties to Bill 10, and that could have been he could have paid his homage to Mike Bivins for bringing them out by giving him his sons and seeing, because Mike a hellified promoter. You know what I'm saying? Mike can get the word out there. Mike Bivins, Bill 10, he should have put them boys on there. Because I don't know what Mary J. Blige gonna do with them boys. I don't know, but I don't want their talent to go to waste because they dealing with Mary J. You know, I don't know. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? But y'all go check them boys out. They got a hot YouTube page and everything. I'm about to sign out, but I'm gonna leave you one more time with this video, One More. These guys.
When I get up by you, I let go. Thinking about you each day, I feel your love makes my head spin around and round in a daze. Hey, oh baby, I can't let this love, and I can't turn this around.
And then that was one of my favorite Boyz II Men songs. So they knew how to get me with that. They got me with that one. They knew what they were doing with that. But on that note, I'm signing out. We got the Speak On It podcast coming up next Wednesday night. And then let me see, we probably gonna talk about, I ain't even gonna tell y'all what we're gonna talk about. You'll see the flyer. I'm gonna put it out everywhere. This is gonna be an interesting topic. I'm gonna get with the team and we're gonna make the final decision, but I kind of know what we're gonna talk about. And then the therapist, she'll probably be back that Wednesday after that. And then like I said, I'll be back on the 20th again with the hip hop, and we're gonna kind of battle, you know, break down the MCs and I'm gonna tell you some of the news that's going on, you know, with the rappers and things. The trial of Young Thug is still hot. There's just so much going on. So just tune in and check it out. Like I say, we're doing more in 2024. And like I say, I'm about to get out. I said I was gonna come on here and do a quick little show. But check it out though, every third Wednesday. So it's gonna be around the 20th. Every third Wednesday, it's gonna be Hip Hop Wednesdays with your host, DJ Black. So just check it out. And I got some guests that's planning on coming on the next one. And I had a lot going on this week, wasn't able to get them in. But I will have some guests on here voicing their opinion because they want to talk about these MCs and I guess kind of check my knowledge on what I know about these Southern rappers and stuff, because they know I'm gassed up on East Coast rap and lyrics. But I'm in there. I'm a DJ. I play it all. But with that being said, on that note, I'm out. And like I say, it's all about hip hop. And that's what we're doing. And that's what we talk about. Speak on It podcast next Wednesday night. Hot topics, trending topics. We're going to talk about it. But other than that, we out. Hip Hop Wednesday. Peace.
Hip hop. Hip hop. Hip hop. Hip hop. Hip hop. Hip hop. Hip hop.
And what it meant to DJ Scott LaRock.
Notorious, I cross you like a jelly bean. I'm hip hop. 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 Hip hop.
And what it meant to DJ Scott LaRock.
And now, our feature presentation.